For Eric J on Sports, I'm Eric J, and this is what I think. Recently, there was a discussion about the Olympic basketball team, the men's Olympic basketball team, and their performances in Paris, and the discussion centered on whether or not LeBron James was still a viable NBA player and how much he had in the tank because of his performance in the Olympics. Now, before I get into what I'm actually going to discuss, I feel the need to give my LeBron James disclaimer. Because I am about to discuss LeBron James, that in no way means that I love LeBron any more or any less than Michael Jordan. It is possible to like LeBron and like Michael Jordan. It is possible to dislike LeBron and dislike Michael Jordan. There is no reason or any need to like one any more or any less than the other. And because I'm discussing LeBron, that does not mean I think LeBron is the GOAT and Michael is not, or that I think Michael is the GOAT and LeBron is not. I am just discussing LeBron James. Thank you for listening. Now, the discussion about LeBron James was whether or not he could still be a great NBA player. The question was, how much does he still have in the tank? And they based it on his Olympic performance. Now, I know a lot of people are going to look at that and say, oh yeah, LeBron was great in the Olympics. So yeah, he still has a lot in the tank for an NBA season. But let me educate you really quickly on a couple of things. The Olympic tournament this year, this past Olympics, consisted of 6 games. 6. Kind of like an NBA preseason. 6 games. LeBron played all 6 games. And he averaged 14 points, 8 assists, and 6 or 7 rebounds in those 6 games. So he had decent numbers. Not LeBron James numbers, not what he put up last season for the Lakers that got them into the playoffs, but decent numbers. So if you're looking at it just from the standpoint of his numbers, some would say he lost a step if he only averaged 14 points a game, but last season he averaged about 27 or 28. But that's not the whole story. They only played 6 games. During the pool phase of the basketball tournament, there were 3 days between each of those 3 games. There was a game, then there was 2 days off, then a game, and then 2 days off, and then a game. So he didn't have any back-to-backs. All the games were played in Paris. He didn't have to travel. He could play, chill, and play. Then when they got into the knockout round, going for the medal, they had 3 more games. There was 1 day of rest between those games. So still, no back-to-backs, no travel, no any of that. So for LeBron to play great in those 6 games at 39 years old, with 2 days of rest in the pool phase and then 1 day of rest in the knockout round, that would be expected if he's still in shape and still a great player. But look at the other part of it. His teammates were not Austin Reeves and an untrustworthy, unreliable D'Angelo Russell and Rui Hachimura and Gabe Vincent and those guys. Those weren't his teammates on the Olympic basketball team. He didn't have to play with a bunch of guys that he didn't know what he was going to get from them night after night. He had Steph Curry and Kevin Durant and Joel Embiid and Devin Booker and Anthony Edwards and Anthony Davis as his teammates. The Olympic basketball team was so deep and so talented that Coach Steve Kerr could not even find minutes for Jason Tatum, who just led his Boston Celtics to the NBA championship. So when you've got Steph Curry, and you've got Kevin Durant, and you've got Devin Booker, and you've got Joel Embiid, and you've got Anthony Edwards, and you've got Jason Tatum, and you've got Anthony Davis as your teammates, that's not Rui Hachimura and Austin Reeves and Max Christie and D'Angelo Russell and Christian Wood. Not the same. So you've got LeBron James playing on a franchise loaded with all-stars and future Hall of Famers in a basketball game that's only 40 minutes long as opposed to the 48 that they play in the NBA, where the three-point line is 1 foot shorter than the NBA three-point line, and you've got 2 days of rest between the games in the pool phase and 1 day of rest between the games in the knockout round, and you don't have to travel because all the games are taking place in the same arena. Of course he's going to look great. Of course he is. Anybody would. So, again, I'm not knocking LeBron. I'm not saying he's not great. I'm not saying he's not the GOAT and Michael Jordan is. Remember the disclaimer. You can like one and the other, or you can hate one and hate the other. You do not have to choose. But I am saying when the discussion was being had on if LeBron had anything left in the tank, and the commentators were saying, oh yeah, LeBron was great in the Olympics, he's going to be great for another couple of years in the NBA and things like that. How do you know? He averaged 14 points a game on an Olympic squad that was packed with guys. Of course you're going to average 8 assists when you've got Steph Curry and Kevin Durant, two of the greatest shooters who've ever lived. And then you've got Joel Embiid and Anthony Davis, two of the best finishers at the rim in the league. And then you've got a Devin Booker who can score at will, who's got a 70-point game in his career, and Anthony Edwards, who was so great in Minnesota that they felt like they could trade Karl Anthony Towns. Of course you can get 8 assists. Magic Johnson, at his current age, could average 8 assists a game with that lineup. Oscar Robertson could average 8 assists a game with that lineup. Bob Cousy, who still plays basketball occasionally, could average 8 assists a game with that lineup. So, yes, you're gonna look good when all you're doing is passing to guys that you know can make shots. Imagine if the Olympic basketball team was Russell and Reeves and Christie and Hachimura and Christian Wood and Gabe Vincent and LeBron. And Anthony Davis was injured, which is something that's happened a lot during his tenure with the Lakers. If that were the team, would LeBron still average 8 assists a night? Probably not. Because his Lakers team is not as efficient and effective and talented as this Olympic basketball team. But again, I'm not saying that LeBron's not great. I'm just saying that the overreaction after the Olympics and before the current NBA season was a little much. He might still have a lot in his tank. He might still be great. He might win the MVP this year and take the Lakers to the championship. I would love that because it would be a great story. But with 48-minute games, a three-point line that's 1 foot longer, back-to-back games, and travel, I think that's just a little bit short-sighted. But that's just my opinion, which is why this is what I think. Remember to like and share this video and subscribe to this channel, and visit the Eric J on Sports website, and follow me on Facebook at Eric J on Sports 1 and on Instagram and Twitter at Eric J on Sports. And for Eric J on Sports, I'm Eric J, and this is what I think.